Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about zero-based budgeting and sinking funds. I wasn't sure whether I felt I had explained it well enough in my previous video, so I thought what I would actually do in this one would be to show some just obviously made up examples of how zero-based budgeting and sinking funds can work for you. I've got a little tripod, could not set it up so that you could actually see this notebook. So I am holding my phone to film. So if it's a little bit all over the place, please bear with me. I'm going to try and hold it in the same position throughout. So therefore I will try and be as quick as possible. So just a little introduction. If you've not been here before, my name is Sharon. I am 62 years old. I've been living on a really tight budget and low income for the past 2 years where my circumstances changed. I'm now living in a rented property. And yeah, just trying to survive, I think, like lots of us are these days. So I do have rent to pay, so I just want to make that clear. So yeah, things are tough and life is not as easy as it was just over 2 years ago. But anyway, let's crack on and get into these examples. So obviously I can't remember what I said in the previous video, but zero-based budgeting, I had already adopted this before I actually moved into this house. So I was already working on a zero-based budget and using sinking funds. And luckily for me, when I moved in here with absolutely nothing to my name, I had £1,000 in a furniture sinking fund that enabled me to buy a sofa, a coffee table, a bed frame and a mattress. So I was really, really grateful that I had that money in a furniture sinking fund, but we'll get to sinking funds shortly. So I've got two examples here. As you can see, these are just made up. So this is really all about fixed expenses. And I think, as I've said before, I have fixed expenses. I have two variables each month, which are my energy and my mobile phone bill. And once they have been paid, that is when I set my food budget for the month and the money that I have to live on for the month, which I then separate into sinking funds. So just a couple of examples here. This one you can see income, I've put 1,500. I've put rent or mortgage, £800. Now bear in mind, obviously not everybody has rent to pay or a mortgage still. A lot of that's going to depend on your personal circumstance. Then I've put 200 for bills, 150 for groceries, £100 savings, and then I've put your personal money for the month or sinking funds. I've put that at 250. So what is then left is zero. So that is a zero-based budget in action. Okay. Then over on this side, you might be a family, or just a couple with two incomes coming in. So I've just made these amounts slightly higher, again, just for an example. 2,750 income. I've put rent or mortgage 1,000, bills 600, food shopping 400, savings £100, and then personal money for the month or sinking funds 150. Again, what is left? Zero. Okay, so that is zero-based budgeting. So you're making every penny work for you. So all of your bills are paid. Again, bear in mind, not everybody has any money left over once they've paid their bills and their rent and their mortgage. Some people have nothing left. And I think we need to bear that in mind, and we need to appreciate there are people in that situation. And I think also we need to appreciate that the cost of living is high for everybody, Mortgages, I know interest rates, I think they recently went down a bit, didn't they? But, you know, if you're living in rented property, I hate living in a rented house just because it's that thought of you never know how long you're going to be somewhere. The landlord might decide to sell. You know, you're just lining somebody else's pocket, aren't you? But sometimes in life we have no choice. And a lot of young couples are starting out in rented accommodation because they can't afford to get a mortgage. They might not fit the criteria. They may not have a deposit. So for lots of reasons, people are paying a lot of money for rent or mortgage. And then we've got other people that don't have that expense. So again, everybody's circumstance is different, so take that into account. So it's all about, first of all, thinking about your fixed expenses, your variable expenses, and then what you've got left. So as I've said, for me, that is then setting my money to live on for the month and my food shopping money at the end of that, okay? Now, sinking funds, or the money that you're going to live on for the month. Now, I've tried both ways. So I have had the money that I have got left to live on for the month in a separate account, and I have just, for example, paid for my hair to be done out of that account. I've bought a birthday present out of that account. I've gone out for lunch out of that account, and I've had all of the money together. I've tried both ways. I really do like the sinking fund method. It won't work for everybody, but that is just something that I have now gone back to, and only in the month of February for the first time have I gone back to sinking funds, okay? So whether you have pots in a bank account, cash in an envelope that you're living out of each month, or cash envelopes, you'll find there are lots of cash stuffing videos on YouTube. Some people have these filofaxes with sort of plastic zip up compartments in them that they put their money into separate wallets for different eventualities. Okay, so on my next page, if I turn over, I have given some sinking fund ideas or examples of things that you might well be saving for. And I read somewhere this quote up here, which I think is really interesting. Your emergency fund saves you, your sinking funds prepare you. And that really, really struck with me. I really, really like that quote. So sinking fund ideas. You know, what do you have to pay out for? So it could be you want to save for a holiday. You're saving for Christmas. You're putting money away each month for birthdays. We've got self-care there. That could include hair appointments, massages, pedicures, whatever. I've put school holidays because if you've got kids, entertaining them when they're off of school can be really expensive if you're taking them out for days. Maybe you want to save for that. I've got car because some people might have a car. They're saving money towards the day when they might need to pay for some car repairs. They're going to be prepared for that. Emergency fund, always a good one. And that could be paying out for or helping you through, say, a job loss, when people are on maternity from work. I know with one of my daughters, the maternity pay was just statutory after a while, and times were really tough. So maybe you want to prepare for that for the future. And I've put repairs just as an idea there because, you know, you might want to be prepared in case your boiler breaks down if you've got your own home, something like that. Then I've got clothes. I've got school uniform if you've got children. I've got furniture or home renovations, decorating, whatever. Put that one in because obviously I did have my own furniture emergency sinking fund before I moved into this house, which I was really grateful for. You might have pets and no pet insurance, so vet bills maybe. You might have to pay for your dentist. And then I've got wedding, because you might be saving for a wedding. But with a wedding pot, I said to one of my daughters a couple of years ago, she had 2 overseas weddings, an overseas hen do, a UK hen do, money to spend for both, outfits for both. So I said to her, why don't you start a saving pot for those weddings that you're going to? Weddings to go to as a guest are expensive. By the time you've bought your clothes, you've paid for all these other things, you've got to probably give money to the bride and groom as a gift or buy a present. So yeah, that can encompass that, not just if you're getting married yourself. And with your sinking funds, just a little example here. So I like to put £30 in a sinking fund for birthdays. So say, for example, in the month of February, I've got one birthday, I've spent £20 on a present and £1.49 on a card. That would leave £8.51 in that pot, envelope, sinking fund, whatever you want to call it. And then say the next month I've got 2 birthdays and I've got £8.51 to start with. I put in my £30. I've then got £38.51 for 2 birthdays. So buy the cards, then I know exactly what I've got left to spend on the gifts. So that is sinking funds really in a nutshell. So you can have a sinking fund for anything that you like. But those are just some ideas there. If you've got any other ideas or you already use sinking funds, whether that be cash, envelopes, or pots in a bank account that allows you to do that, I would love to hear your ideas, what you do, if they work for you, or just how you budget and how that works for you in general. So that was just a quick overview to kind of show examples from what I was talking about in my last zero-based budgeting video. So it's all about making every penny that comes into your home or your account, whether that be salary, pension, any kind of benefit, it's all about making every penny work for you. So I really hope that helps, guys. And any likes, comments, and I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel. Over here, we're going to be talking all things money, food, budgeting, and it's really nice to have people along on that journey because it helps also to keep me accountable to this frugal way of living I have had to adopt going forward. Take care, guys, and I will see you soon.